This brand new PC build just came in the shop because when you go to turn it on, all the lights and fans fire right up, but you get absolutely no display out. No matter how long you let the system idle, nothing ever happens. So what exactly is going on here? This is a perfect example of a system failing to post, which stands for the power on self-test that your computer runs on every single startup, which is designed to verify the health and compatibility of all your hardware. But if one of the components happens to be incompatible with the rest, or maybe you have some kind of faulty hardware, well, you end up with no display out because it fails that test. So how exactly do you fix something like this? Well, it's pretty simple. Because this is a brand new build, it means more likely than not, the system's just not assembled properly. Because although DOA hardware does occur, it's fairly rare these days. So because of that, the first thing I want to do is just check all the required power connections for the system to turn on, like the PCIe, the 8-pin EPS connector, as well as our 24-pin ATX connector. Because those look good, if you happen to have a modular power supply, I also always recommend the connections on this side as well. And the reason why you want to always check those power cables is that insufficient power can cause that same behavior of no display out. Because technically you don't need power here for those fans to turn on. And even though we do have this rat's nest here, it seems to actually be plugged in wrong. Next thing I always like to check for is to make sure that everything's seated properly, like your GPU in the PCIe slot, making sure that's mounted properly. As for an M.2 drive, even your CPU and cooler. And although all three of those look good, this RAM doesn't. If you look closely from the side, you can still see the teeth of this first RAM module, which is supposed to be fully inserted into the slot. Look up really close, we can see that this module is actually sticking out just a little bit more than the other module. They're not both flush. This one's mounted right, but this one's just not installed all the way. Actually, a pretty common issue I see all the time. Motherboard manufacturers got rid of having clips on either side of the RAM slot. So let's just push this down, lock it into place, you heard that click, and now if we turn the system on, check this out, the system fires right up into the BIOS, recognizing both of our RAM modules just fine. So likely what was going on here, which is that only half of the RAM module's pins were actually being recognized by the motherboard, which caused the motherboard to detect that there was a module, but it just threw a fault. Obviously, it wasn't able to communicate all the way like it is now. The system is now back up and working. There are actually two things I want to take care of with the system. First, this rat's nest, which has cables rubbing against the fan blades. This is such an easy fix. What you gotta do is grab all the cables, push them through the top of the case, strap them down with a cable tie or zip tie. And then the one other thing I do want to go ahead and take care of for our customers, the fact that this GPU is not mounted properly. We're missing two screws right here. So let's install two spares. So with this card now nice and secure, the cable management looking good, and this PC no longer failing to post, let's get this system back over to our customer.